Alright folks, Vitek here from Wani with us today. We have one and only, the wizard, Mr. Jordan Rudess. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Happy to be with you today.
You're someone, obviously who tours around the world with Dream Theater. You do good amount of collaboration with your friends in the music industry, be it Marco Miniman, Tony, or, so many other musicians. But at this point of time, what exactly, triggered this thought of going on a solo tour? Let's say celebrating your life, celebrating your music.
Well, I had tried to do some solo shows on the East Coast of the United States a while back, just as kind of a almost experiment to see if it would work as far as bringing people in, and it really did. So it was great, and I just thought that this is a really fun way to have an evening of my music.
Right.
My roots are really in the piano, having started playing classical music at Juilliard when I was 9 years old. And for me, coming to the piano is like going home. So it's a great way to, it's a wonderful way to kind of bring people through a Jordan-style journey,
right?
Of my musical path, and very comfortable for me as well to to do that, and a lot of fun. And also, it's so easy to just walk on stage and have a beautiful concert grand piano,
right?
And just play.
Awesome, that's really great. How many instruments are you planning to take on stage? Obviously, like you said, you're going to have a grand piano over there. Are you going to bring in your guitar, your other keyboards, or let's say some, gadgets, which obviously, you are, someone who created?
Yeah. So this is an evening of solo piano, although I will do a little bit of iPad stuff just to have some fun with my latest musical instrument for iOS, which is called GeoShred.
Right.
So that's the only thing. Other than that, it's totally an evening of piano.
Great. So Jordan's not going to come on stage with guitar and and turn out some solos.
No, that's not what this is all about.
All right, that's really great. That's really great. Now you named this tour from Bach to Rock. Any
Right.
interesting meaning behind this? That made you specifically mention the tour name.
Yeah. The reason that this is called Bach To Rock is because it really is, as I said, a journey from my beginnings to now. And literally, I can remember my first piano lesson at the Juilliard School of Music, where I walked in and, I was assigned to play a Bach prelude. So I thought, wouldn't it be appropriate to start there, talk about my beginnings, how I was an improviser, how, that led to eventually my kind of leaving the classical path and moving to other styles, and
Right.
of course rock and everything like that. But that was kind of a nice title, because in addition to a concert of music, it really is a night of kind of sharing this interesting story of my musical path.
Absolutely.
Which was because of the time period, because when I left Juilliard, there weren't a lot of other outlets for discovering synthesizers. Not like today, where there's Berkeley's and Musicians Institute and all kinds of places where you could literally go and dive deep into synthesizers and rock or pop or jazz music. In those days, when I was doing that, that wasn't a possibility. So my path was a little bit different and unusual, and I really like to tell it from the piano.
Right, that's really cool. And obviously, I was looking at the dates, and there are just 3 dates in States, and probably 5 to 6 in Europe, and only 1 in Asia, and that too you're visiting Israel. Why specific? Very limited. Obviously, I'm sure you would have done research as to how people are receiving it, which you said is great. But why the tour dates are very limited?
Well, I'm doing about 2 weeks in Europe.
Yeah.
And a few shows in the West Coast. 2 reasons. One is time. The second reason is, this is a new thing.
Yeah.
So it's a very specialized type of a concert, which demands that it be done in certain kinds of venues. I certainly don't want to play any place that's just like a crappy club.
True.
I want to play really nice places, but I can't play places that are too large because it doesn't make sense, and it's just me on a solo piano. So, it's a bit of a puzzle, if you will, for the agent to find everything we need in a venue at the time we need it. So,
right.
This fit into my schedule. This is what the promoters were excited about. And honestly, if this goes really well, as I assume that it will, and the fans will come out for it, then the next time I'll be able to do more.
Right. There would possibly be version 2 of Jordan Rudess tour.
Oh, absolutely. I'm looking forward to that.
That's really great. Now, obviously, we had a chat during the astonishing release time, and we already discussed about how great the album it was. But over the period of time, you guys went and celebrated Images and Words tour. You went worldwide, and got a great response as well. Did that period of going back to 2 decades, did that sort of inspire you guys to kind of plan something for the future, something like writing something, respecting your past but also looking forward to the future in terms of new record?
Yeah, well, certainly going back to Images and Words was meaningful for us, and it was great for the fans. It was an exciting show. You could see in the fans' faces and their energy that they were super pumped up and into it.
Right.
And being that we do have our next album to look forward to, having done that tour and experienced the magic of that album, yeah, I think that influences us and kind of brings us closer to our roots a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The foundation of what the band was kind of like, all about in those days, and what really made the biggest statement for who Dream Theater is. So that's it's kind of cool that we did that, and now we'll, come around May or June, we're going to get into the studio and, really start putting together something else, the next album, and it's going to be, really, a lot of fun.
All right. What's the plan this time? Are you guys going to enter studio and then start writing, or you are individually writing stuff, and then probably meet up at the studio and then start, exchanging ideas, and then obviously, it'll pile up and become an album eventually?
Yeah, we're just gonna go in and we're gonna throw around ideas and write some music for the first period of time, and then take it from there.
All right, that sounds really great. Now, I had a chat with John Petrucci during the time you guys went to UK in support of Images and Words, and he did tell me that Dream Theater discography is huge. I mean, you guys have explored a lot of stuff, be it the heaviest strain of thought, or even the Octavarium, or let's say even Astonishing. There's 3 different worlds when it comes to brutality, but at the same time still the melodic and the overall aesthetics. What is the plan? Because he said that we may be going towards the heavier material, and obviously we don't know what to expect. But at this point of time, what is the vision band has in terms of the direction band wishes to take for the next record?
Well, I think that it's. How do I express this? I think that we're interested to just put our heads together and kind of like find something that we feel is really representative of who we are, and I think maybe a little bit on the heavier side. Certainly nothing like a concept album. We will, since we already did the Astonishing, and
right.
We had a lot of fun, and it was a wonderful creative project. Now I think maybe returning a little bit more to the roots. And that probably involves, a little bit of a harder approach, I guess, to the sound, but never losing sight of the melodies.
Absolutely.
And, Dream Theater is Dream Theater. I mean, it's always a stylistic blend of a lot of different things. But I think that, all I can say about it at this point is we want to kind of figure out what the core of who we are, and what the music is, and just kind of present that.
Absolutely, that's really great. Jordan, you guys also changed the record label. Now, Roadrunner is something you guys have been in the past for a long time, as far as I remember. And Inside Out being the home of progressive metal bands. I mean, I love the bands that are on the label and how the way they have progressed over the period of time. And I believe that is one primary reason that interested you guys to move to Inside Out, to explore more opportunities, which probably, Roadrunner may not provide at this point of time.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful now to be involved with a company that really understands who we are, that's been tracking us, for many, many years, that really gets it, and that's involved in the style. I just think that that's an exciting opportunity for everybody, for the band and for the record label. some of the greatest musicians in the world are on that label, and some of them have not had the success the Dream Theater has had.
True.
And of course, that's a whole other discussion of why that is. But, there's a lot of really positive, wonderful things about being, involved in that community, and it's been a long time coming. Dream Theater has always taken kind of a different path,
right,
rather than going with the kind of larger crowd of like progressive rock musicians, and there's reasons for that too. But I think at this point in time, with the way the music business is and just the climate of everything around us, I think that joining together and kind of being with the company that really understands us and has the power to make a lot of things happen in this new musical market and the world that we live in is really an exciting possibility, and we're all really into it.
Nice, that's really great. I'm going to throw one question at you, which probably, fans have been waiting for years and years and years, and they might even have to wait for some more years. Is there any plan for Liquid Tension Experiment to come back and do some record?
Yeah, there's no plan for it, but you never know in life what's going to happen,
That is true. I kind of expected that. Now, Jordan, as someone, like you said, in a spiritual journey that your music involves, which also impacts the fans. When I say impacts, I mean in a good way. They see themselves through the music that you create, the life. And lost a lot of musicians, who have, in some form, I mean, at the end of the day, the best part about music is that artists are able to take some of their personal experience and create an art out of it. And then this art can it's a way someone can translate their pain and their suffering into something that can be consoling for someone else in a similar position. And then we have artists at the same time who end up taking some harsh decisions, and we're losing them due to suicides. So there's so many things happening. What's your take on that?
Artists are interesting people, and being a creative spirit might mean that you are, open in some ways to more things that are around you. Being an artist is it involves almost having antennas to the outside world and allowing things to flow through you so they can be expressed outwardly. And I think it's that process of being a more sensitive, kind of open individual that sometimes it gets more challenging to, just kind of have an ordinary life, and whether that involves, and in no way do I endorse any kind of like drug use per se, but people are, artists are looking for creative ways to create a feeling, to get into different vibes, and sometimes in a negative way that'll lead to drugs and abuse of that. But I guess my thinking is that being an artist is being kind of this free-flowing character, and it's not the easiest role in the world. Yes, we all want artists to be, really together and, just responsible and all that kind of stuff. But when you have personalities that are these, almost like beautiful paintings or whatever, then it's, unfortunately, it's like in a lot of cases, I think it's like a delicate flower.
Absolutely.
That we have to be careful with. And the other issue, and it's an interesting one, is that with that said, I mean, in today's climate of the internet and the way people interact and almost like create like an abuse, people are so rude to artists over the internet. The internet's like a forum for people to sit in hiding and say whatever they want. Just to even like start to cause trouble, and they don't realize a lot of times that the artist is also, on maybe the same pages, and it can be very hurtful. And I have a lot of friends who are artists who, in varying degrees, have been affected by this, and people don't understand that what they say, even though they might be in their little hiding place behind their computer in their house, what they say has an effect. You can't put stuff out into the world without it having some kind of an effect on everybody else. And so I guess a message to anybody who might be listening is be careful when you're out there. Artists are, as I said, sensitive people. We're trying to create, whether it be music or something visual or audio, and we're human beings, so it's a wonderful thing to be an artist. So be careful about how you're attacking artists. It's really it's had a lot of negative results on our artistic community.
Indeed, indeed. Very well said, Jordan. Jordan, you met Mohini Day, and obviously you're also playing some. I don't know, something is happening that you guys, you, Marco, you guys, I think you had a great jam. And is there anything brewing at the moment?
We had a wonderful time with Dua Bujani, the Indonesian guitarist. We were invited by him to come together and record on his album, and it was Mohini Day, Marco Miniman, and myself. So we kind of left it at that, although there is discussion about maybe doing something in the future. I'd love to, those are wonderful musicians. Absolutely. Who I not only like musically, but personally as well. I think they're all awesome. So, I'm sure that there'll be interactions in the future, although nothing is directly planned at the moment.
Well, I definitely look forward to that. Did you get, chance to listen to the new Sons of Apollo album?
No, I didn't listen to it.
All right. And Jordan, I don't know when you guys go, when at least you're going to do a solo tour in India in the future. Maybe that'll happen. But again, as a fan, I'll wait for Dream Theater to return and probably, catch you guys sometime in Asia if possible.
Oh, that sounds great. And that might be worth mentioning that after my tour of Europe, I come back to America and I'm doing what I call the ultimate hangout for keyboard players.
Okay.
At the amazing Sweetwater Sound, which is one of the greatest, largest, music stores in the world.
Wow.
April 26th through 28th, we're doing something called Keyfest. It's the third time I'm doing this, and this time we're doing it at this major music store. So any keyboard players who may be, listening to this will definitely want to check it out.
Lovely. Are you bringing in some musicians, who are also a keyboardist and have a great time with them?
Yeah, I'm bringing in two other teachers. One of them is Bill Lawrence, who plays with the group Snarky Puppy, who will be joining me, and the other one is Tom Breslin, who has joined me before. Tom is known for his work with Yes and Renaissance.
Yeah.
So it'll be a great place for keyboardists to unite, jam, learn from us, and just have a really great time.
Lovely. Jordan, once again, thank you very much for sparing some time. You have a lovely day ahead, and we look forward to catching you on tour, with the solo tour.
Great. Thanks so much.
Take care, buddy. See ya.
Bye-bye.